Have you ever wondered how you could use gratitude to improve your circumstances or change your life? Over the next couple of minutes, I'm going to talk about how I use that in my life so that you can use it to improve yours. Gratitude is a very interesting thing. It's how we look at different circumstances in our lives. We can either have gratitude or we can be focusing on negative things that we don't have enough, which actually creates us to have a mindset of lack. When we are in negative situations and we feel like we're failing and we're not really able to go forward, we start focusing on all the lack in our lives. We start looking at the things that are not adding up, the things that are not going right, or how people are treating us. That lack is actually propelling us into a further negative situation. I like to attack any lack with the idea of gratitude. Now, I'm not saying that my life is always great and it's always perfect. What I am saying is I have the ability to now focus on things that are important to help me push past the lack mentality. And that is the word gratitude. Gratitude had propelled me to a point where I can now see that things are going to be okay. And it all started like this. A long time ago, when I first started struggling with who I am and where I was going, I wasn't sure about anything. I felt like I was never winning. I actually felt like I was a zero. But I can tell you, I went from zero to hero. If you like what you're hearing so far, why don't you subscribe so you can hear more content on these types of topics in the future. Now getting back to having an attitude of gratitude. What I had to do is when something was going on in my life, I found things that were good, even if they're very small, and I had the ability to focus on them. And as I focused on those gratitude moments, those good things that were going on, I stopped focusing on the lack. I stopped focusing on the negative. I stopped focusing on what I couldn't do and started seeing the things I can do. And those things empowered me to be able to become better at doing more things. It's all about where my focus was. The attitude of gratitude was able to propel me forward. Now, how do I achieve that? How do I start having an attitude of gratitude? We have to nurture it. You have to understand that when you're nurturing an attitude of gratitude, you will start seeing that change over and over and over again in your life. One of the analogies I like to use, because I'm very big on like a visual representation, is I want you to think about this. If you were in a situation of lack and you had to compare that to like being lost in the woods and you had to start a fire so that you had the ability to survive. That's no different to being in a negative wilderness or having the feeling of lack. Now I want you to imagine this. You have to build a fire and you have to focus on the fact that you're building a fire and you have to start with a small spark. That is the same type of concept of bringing gratitude into your life. So you're sitting there, you build up your fire, you make your little spark, and then you start taking care of it. You start adding kindling and things that are going to burn. And these are other sources of gratitude. And you start to pile them up. And as you pile them up, the fire will continue to get bigger and bigger. Using gratitude in your life is just like building that fire. You have to look at the things. I have a job today. I was able to have food today. You know, I didn't get to work out for the entire hour I wanted to, but I was able to get in 30 minutes of exercise. Focus on the gratitude. It will push the lack out of your life. And by doing this, I promise and guarantee your life will start changing. You'll start seeing things differently. People will start approaching you in different ways, and they will want to be around you. I've always seen that gratitude-oriented people are usually the most cheerful and joyful. Lack mentality people, well, you know what they're like. And that's not you. And that's why you're here. I'm glad that I have the ability to speak this into your life, to give you encouragement to embrace the attitude of gratitude. So if you like what you're hearing, why don't you subscribe to the channel, leave a comment, give us a like, and come back and watch us again in the future.